Yeah, I hope you're seeing what I'm seeing right now because this is just a base game. Meaning no DLC, no expansion, just the game itself cost me the price of that. And this is like normal across the world, but in Australia it's like a whole new ball game. And this mainly happens because of game companies just doing a basic conversion. And not to mention the tax and the fees and everything else that goes to stuff like this. And like another game that shocked me was Ghost of Yotei. And the price you're looking at right now is before the fees. And at that point, it's not even about having fun anymore. It's an obligation to finish the game. And in this video, we're gonna do a deep dive on why prices are even this high, and how you can combat and fight it, and of course how it differs to other countries and nations. And the first thing we're gonna get into is this concept that nobody really ever explores, and that's the platform's gatekeeping, such as PlayStation, Xbox, and Steam. They don't really just sell games, they control the whole ecosystem. And every single digital sale, they take around 30% instantly. And if a developer tries to lower their price or even offer a cheaper version somewhere else, they most likely get punished instantly. And a perfect example is Outer Worlds. It had a very shaky release and the reviews were astonishing, but the price point was still so high. And one thing people forget is that the price point wasn't the developer's idea. They wanted a more consumer-friendly price, but Xbox didn't want to budge and continued to make a high price tag. And that in turn made the game die on launch, but the game is still free on Game Pass Ultimate. And that kinda has its own problems, but we'll get back to that later in the video. And the point is that giants like Xbox, PlayStation, and Steam are the main reason why games are this high price. And ultimately, they are the ones that pick the price for the game. And in 2010, studios complained that Sony and Microsoft would bury their game, block discounts, or remove them from promos entirely if they price their games too low. So games continue to be high and continue to cost more over the years, but that brings me into a deeper thing. The digital takeover. Once gaming went fully digital, something very subtle happened. The prices just stopped dropping. With physical stores being out the picture, nobody's really fighting to drop the price anymore. That meant no more discounts, no more sales pressure, really nothing urging them to drop the price anymore. Because digital was seen as the better option, easier, faster, and cleaner. But people didn't realize the bad side until it was too late. For example, prices on all games becoming permanent, and the digital era gave publishers permission to do anything they wanted. And giving them all that power was a mistake because they found a way to charge us without giving us anything better. And publishers started using luxury brand tricks. They make the price look high on purpose, so anything cheaper feels like a bargain. Sort of like what's happening in Black Friday. They make the price high before November and then cut it down to seem generous. And that's why publishers always give a game a deluxe version, an ultimate version, and a director's cut. And that's why I see an Ultimate Edition sitting at 150 Australian dollars, and then you realize it's purely there to make the 109 version look normal. It all feels like you're saving money, but both the price is unreasonable. And you would think with such a high price jump, the deluxe version would actually be worth it. Nah, you get a soundtrack, maybe a skin, and you're just playing the exact same game. So really nothing changes, it's just extra money for like cosmetics. And again, it's designed to make the standard edition look reasonable again, even though it's overpriced too. And I fell for it with Silent Hill F. I bought the deluxe version expecting something cool, but I got like a couple of soundtracks and a pink skin. It didn't feel like I bought anything of value, it felt like I was giving away money for charity. And that's not even the end of it, they also hit you with these fake discounts. It's like when you see a game that's 75% off, but it costs the same as it did last month. And that's not an accident. A lot of companies raise the price first. Then they put a discount on top of the new price, so you think you're saving money, but you're buying the game for the normal price it was before. And the worst part is every platform is doing it. Steam, PlayStation, and Xbox, they all done this before. And some games, they're always on sale. It's not because it's cheaper, it's because if it's on discount, people are gonna be more inclined to buy it, even if they're not really saving anything. But some studios like Steam, they actually do some sort of like real sales. Like right now, Witcher 3 is dropping to $6. And I don't know if the game is good, but that's how a discount should be done on a decade-old game. And there's another big issue, regional pricing. And in Australia, the price tags are actually insane. A $50 game somewhere else in the world can turn to $109 here in Australia with the same exact content. And on average you may pay $109 for a standard edition, while some other countries may pay less than that for an ultimate edition. And one more thing I want to talk about is Xbox Game Pass, which is probably worse than anything I described up to this point. And the first thing is the content included in the Game Pass, because half the library is just dead games like forgotten games, old games, and some indie games too. And a lot more games that people did not ask for too. And they continue adding random stuff to inflate the game count even more. And the big AA games that people want, they never actually arrive to the Game Pass, and they mostly take years to come, and sometimes they never even arrive. And that's why I see companies sell their weakest titles and the oldest titles into the Game Pass. And that's why EA only gives you the 24 and the 25 FC, but they can never give you the FC 26 because that's on trial only. And if you want to buy any sort of DLC, you have to buy the whole game, meaning the base and the DLC, and that defeats the purpose of having a free game anyways. And that means you're never gonna play any deluxe version of a game unless you buy the whole game. And the worst part of Game Pass isn't even the content, it's the ownership. And what I mean by that is you don't own anything, and you probably heard a lot of people say that, but I'm gonna dive into it. And it's the fact that you're renting games every single month and they can even disappear without you knowing. And the fact that you keep having to use Microsoft for every single thing gets really annoying, especially on PC. And one more thing, the Ultimate being the only good choice is really annoying because everything else is there to make it look good. And we gotta talk about how Game Pass actually works behind all the stuff that they advertise. And the first thing is that you can't mod anything because the files are locked, the folders are hidden, and everything is encrypted. It's like that because you don't own the game, so you don't get access to any single file. And that's really bad because if the game is corrupted, you have to just delete the game and reinstall it. It happened to me with Expedition 33. And if you care about my opinion on a game, I did not like it because turn-based games has never been my thing. So I kinda deleted it. But the only turn-based games that I liked was South Park. And when you look at everything we talked about, it all makes sense now. And the fact that publishers control the price and digital took over, which gave so many publishers the ability to literally rip anyone off. And there's a few games that provide something of value for the deluxe, but most games it's just charity. I mean, you might get a skin, but in a story game, it's kinda useless, you know? And of course the fake discounts that they do, and they literally raise the price so high right before Black Friday. And then they cut it down to the exact same price it was a couple of months ago and then try to act generous. And this is why it leads back to the average person not being able to game anymore. Because the whole system is not greedy. Not everyone can get the new latest AA game. I meant a AAA game, but you get it. But it's literally a choice about are you gonna eat this week or are you gonna get a new game. And that really sucks because in Australia, a COD game is $109 and that's only for the base version. And because of that, some people try to combat it by going to these gray market sites that sell and distribute games for quarter of the price. And they never ever disclose how they got their keys, it's just that they have it. So you know, you just take the item and you go your way. And people do this as a last resort too. And it's almost trickling into mainstream and it's becoming a norm too. Sites like G2G even on Apple Store. And if you don't know what it is, it's a very big marketplace that sells games for extremely cheap and among other things, but big companies are finding this as a big issue because it costs them tens of millions. And often these great marketplaces aren't just a pirate site, and they're often seen as a real marketplace that sells real stuff. And it makes it very hard for big companies to take them down because they seem and operate like a real business would. So naturally, publishers add as much limitations as they possibly can. So they start locking regions as hard as ever. And they start making everything into their own cloud system, and among other things. But to end the video off, the reason why games are very expensive is because of the publishers and it's designed that way. But that's me, so I'm out.